Evening, back in the shed again. Still playing around with this Hayabusa, doing a few rolling repairs to get it roadworthy so I can use it as a go-to-work bike. As you've seen from the previous videos, I've been fixing the problems created by some dubious previous owners. Suffered from a bit of neglect, bit of abuse, been left outside, bad parts fitted, wrong parts fitted, assembled incorrectly, list goes on. General vandalism. I will be tonight doing the rear brake caliper rebuild. These calipers on these, the underslung one, is very similar, if not the same as 1200 Bandits, SV650s, TL1000s. They're all very similar, so if you're working on any of them, you'll find this video will probably cover what you need to know. Some of the main issues you find with these brake calipers are the pad pins getting seized in to the alley, so we'll need to bake them a bit with a blowtorch and replace them with some stainless steel ones. All these nuts and bolts, I'll replace all these with stainless as well, because I live quite close to a river here, so that means I get all the salt and everything on the road all the time, all year round. So I'll set us up on the fridge table workbench behind us here, and get this held in something of ice or something, and we'll take it apart, find out how nasty it actually is in there, and hopefully I've got the bits here already pre-purchased so I can put it back together tonight. Bear with me a minute, I'll get it set up. Okay, I hope you can see this clear enough. Alright, my filming is not the best. So we've got our scabby caliper. Tools that I've got ready are the little Ugga Dugga gun, in case we've got a tight bolt, small magic wand, medium hammer, medium bottle opener, small bottle opener, and a couple of gas bottles, Galagas, map gas bottles, because one of them's guaranteed to run out, so we may as well use two of them. Alright, so to get this thing apart, first thing I want to do is get these bleed nipples out. They look pretty scabby and it's always a bit of a danger time undoing them. With them being hollow, you can snap them up, they snap off just for fun, so we've got to be quite careful with that. One little tip that you can do to start, I've pre-soaked these already. I've put a bunch of penetrating oil on them, but one thing you can do to start them off is just give them a bit of a shock. I'll put this up in the vise here. Let's just move the angle there. There you go. I like to give these a bit of a fright. Okay, I'll just get it clamped on there, and we'll just give it a quick tester to see if they'll come out easy with the little bottle opener. I won't try too hard on this. I'll just, if you give it just a tester, don't, if it starts moving and it doesn't feel right, oh, there we go. Right, we're all right on that one. Okay, ease out. If they don't come out that easy, then don't try and push it. If you snap it off, they're quite hard to drill out. I'll give this guy a go while we're here. That's okay. That was all right. It's a bit crunchy. but we're going to clean it all up anyway. That's as good as that gets, getting them things out. I'll put them to one side because we won't be using them again. I'm going to replace them with stainless ones. I say, living in a coastal town, it's a bit salty. Right, the next worry we've got, which we haven't actually got a worry, is these caliper pins. Now, let's just get you back down there. The reason why I had the gas bottles is sometimes you got to warm these guys up to get these caliper pins out. In this case, I just noticed then that these are actually very loose, so we've got away with that as well. I'm just going to set up pliers and we'll get them. I'll drop the pads out. If these guys are seized up, split the caliper and leave them in, because it's at the back edge, it's the back one that gets seized up. Don't try and snap them off or anything like that. Split the caliper with them in, and then get the gas on them, warm them up. With them being as they are, hopefully I should be able to get them straight out. There are little springs on the brake pads which hold these guys in. That's the mercy little hole where the little R clip goes. Again, these are not going back in, these are not getting replaced. Nice. That's the brake pads out with the springs and the two anti-squeal shims. We keep all that. They're going back in. These brake pads, as you can see, neglect. No need to let them get that far, but people do, because you know it's all like £8 or something for a new set. You know, so you know, shit, times hard. Okay, so these pistons are probably not seized too bad, but we're going to warm them up anyway, because we'll be putting new seals in. The one here is easy enough because you can put a little alley podger in there and drift it out. This one's blind, so we've got to warm that up and get a grip of it. I may not be reusing these pistons. I think I might be replacing them for some stainless ones. So we go anyway. All right, let's get it set up in the vise anyway. Okay, in the interest of editing, I've just chopped a little bit out then, because we just had a quick go with the little Ooga Dooga, and it's just not man enough. So I quickly done a pause and a little edit, and we've gone and got this guy, the big Ooga Dooga. This fella just takes stuff off. You know, if you want it off, it's just off. Let's catch the back. Okay. You haven't got one of them. Well worth it. My mate Dougie got me that years ago. It's great. Again, those two joint bolts will not be. We'll not be using them again. We've got some nice new river-proof ones. I'm probably knocking you all over the place there. That's the other thing you want to check, the bearing there on the torque arm. That's okay in this one. As we can see here, the seal is not really existent anymore. That's gone to heaven, that one. I'll put this guy back in there and just with the medium hammer I'll just try. Yeah, I'm hardly gripping that there. That's just coming out. If you do struggle getting these pistons out, just get a bit of the fire on there and give it a bit of a warm, and that'll come out for you. That you're replacing the seals anyway, so don't worry about burning them. It's fine. This half here has the little crossover seal, and same again. I'll just have that piston out. Yeah, that was almost too easy. You can burn them out if you have to. So now the pistons are out, I've actually gone away and washed up the calipers in a little bath of petrol. Give them a good scrub, got all the road dirt off and all the grime, brake dust, everything else. The old piston seals, we ain't putting these back in. Every time I take one of these apart, I always replace them anyway, so they come out and they go straight in the bin. So then out. Now this caliper has been particularly easy to dismantle. I didn't have to put any heat on it to take it apart, and regardless of what some bike shops will tell you, sometimes they'll tell you that they pump the pistons out and they've cleaned up the outside and pushed them back in without stripping it and re-bleeding the brakes. That's wrong. What they really need to do is get something sharp like this, but imagine a screwdriver being bent at a right angle. And behind the seal, all that white fuzzy aluminium fur that builds up, that pinches the piston. That pinches on the seal and causes it to grab hold of the piston. So when the piston's in there and it comes out so far, and then when you take your foot off the brake, it doesn't return, it just stays out. So therefore gets the disc hot. You can imagine disc warpage, premature brake pad wear out, can't push your bike backwards out the shed. It's never the build up on the piston, the dirt that builds up on the piston where it sticks out. It's always behind the seal. So get a little bit of welding rod or a pick and just clean behind there. Just get that back down to good metal again, and then get your new caliper seals. Dip them in the old red grease. Use the red grease because that's rubber based, so it doesn't contaminate the brake fluid in any way, and it doesn't compromise the neoprene. So it doesn't matter if you overload it, just get loads on there and just dip a load of rubber on that and you get them fellas in there. I actually had a little bit of a problem with this bike, because this caliper apparently isn't actually off this bike. So the initial seals I bought for this job, the dust seals didn't fit. I had to go away and find out which bike this caliper actually came from, because the standard Hayabusa uses these little dust wiper seals, which after you've fitted your fluid seals, these guys fit inside there. In this case, that doesn't work. I think this caliper might be off a GSXR 1100 or something. In this case, this caliper's got a little rib around the edge and has like a boot seal on it. Same with the caliper. The caliper has this little rib on there, which the boot seal grips on. So it doesn't matter which one you work on. The principle is still the same. So I had to go and find these boots instead, which fit on there. You can fit these guys after you've put the pistons in. So with that greased up, we can't just put our pistons back in. I'm refitting these. Although I've already ordered a new set, I'm gonna put these back in anyway. Mainly because I want to get the bike on the road this weekend, but we're not gonna leave them in. In reality, I'm probably going to buy another caliper and get the right one for the bike. So if I ever sell the bike, the next fella isn't going to come across the problem I had trying to figure out what seals and pistons to buy for this. And I'll use this on a chopper or one of my custom builds in the future. That's okay. So there's the pistons back in, and these little rubber boot seals. Give them a tiny little lick of the old rubber on the inside, just on the off chance it might help them last a little bit longer. Probably doesn't make a blind bit of difference, but it'll make me feel a little bit better anyway. I can't see what you're seeing here, but I'm hoping that that's in frame. They're like way harder to fit than what you would imagine. This is where I burst the seal now, because I'm using a metal screwdriver to fit that guy. Hopefully my little video camera caught that, but yeah, as you can see, that seal fitted in the rib around the caliper and then in that piston seal. This piston does look quite nasty, but that can rust up as much as it wants. It's not going to affect the brake. Although I'm probably going to take this apart and replace it with the stainless pistons I've already got on order. But right now, while I'm making this video, they didn't turn up. So I'm doing it this way. I don't just have one bike. There's several bikes that I could fit this to at a later date, even when I find the correct caliper to go on this bike. I'm not a river counter, but I do like to be able to go into a shop and order the right stuff and it just be correct. Right, so that's both halves of the caliper put together with the pistons and the seals in there. Just mop all the red off my mitts there. And then we'll get down to the assembling the thing. Now we've got the little we have the little crossover seal. Don't forget to put that in, because if you forget that, then you'll never bleed your brake up, and when you press your pedal, fluid will just spray out. So that little fella goes in there, and then we get down to putting it back together. And this is our little bag of new bits. That we got to make it, as I call, river proof. Now they didn't give us any washers with this, but it's okay. I've got washers. I prefer to see a washer on a bolt rather than it just go in there neat. I'll just go and get us an Allen key. And snug that guy up. That's just hand tight now, but already that caliper's looking better than it was before. Washed with a bit of petrol, some new seals fitted, pistons cleaned up, and I'll put you back over to the vise here. I'll tighten these fellas up a little bit better. A little small magic wand. That's probably bouncing the camera around like crazy. But it ain't coming off. And just to make double sure, just give it a little yeah, I'll call that torqued. These guys here are replacements for the ones I hit with the hammer before, which you're probably thinking is an animal. Let's just put new stuff on. It's not expensive. Okay. So with the pistons pushed all the way back, we'll call that part of the job done, and then we'll go to new set of brake pads. This is just the first set that came off the box. The local bike shop. Branded vinyl. Apparently they're scented, so that's okay. Probably massively overrated for the aftermarket disc that we got on the bike. But the anti-squeal shims that we took off the old pads and the spring things. If I had my way, I'll probably be replacing them again, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're not rotted, so I'm happy to put them back in. We've got the stainless steel pad pins to replace the scabby, rusty ones we took out before, and some fresh R clips. There you go, fresh R clips there. And we'll start putting these pads with the anti-squeal shims and the springs. The springs hook around the back of the anti-squeal shims. And we'll try and put it all back in together. Might need there's the first guy in there. This guy will be a little bit more tricky because we've loaded up the spring with the one we put in there. I'll just get a welding rod and press that last tail on that spring down to get that past. And that's it. That's it done and rebuilt. There's normally a little plastic cap that goes over the back of the pads to keep the weather out. So when it's sat on the motorbike like that, it protects it from weather a bit more. On this particular motorbike, that one's missing. I'll find one of them after I've got it on the bike and build it up. But that's where you need to be to rebuild the caliper. When you're bleeding it up, start with this, bleeding it later, let that chamber fill up, and the second one will follow, and then play the two off against each other as you're bleeding it up. If anyone wants to see a brake bleeding video, I'm sure it's only going to be a matter of days before another one of these comes across my path, where I'll be doing this again. I'll show you the same job on another bike, because these calipers are fitted to many Suzukis and some Kawasaki's as well. So I'll leave that there. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see some more of my shed antics and whatever I'm working on, there's a different job every night. I'll keep on posting videos. I appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, all the comments. Any questions, please ask. Thank you very much. See you later, guys.